Hello, everybody. Welcome to week two of marketing. So in week two, we have three videos. We have this agenda video, and then there's one for chapter one, sorry, one for chapter three, and another for chapter four. And this week I have a bit of a contest, a bit of a game to play with you. And the contest is guessing the answer to a question. And the question is, what is the least painful way for removing a bandage? Is it less painful to remove the bandage very quickly, or less painful to remove it very slowly? So we'll come back to that question towards the end of this agenda video, because you're probably wondering what that has to do with marketing. But anyways, it does tie in indirectly. Okay, so in week week two here, we have you have your publisher website activities due for chapters 3 and chapter 4 by the end of Sunday, January 17th. And then your first quiz with its 4 parts are also due by the same deadline. And then in week 2 here, we're looking at chapter 3, so kind of looking at the context within which marketing activities occur, sort of the environmental context, and then we also look at the ethical context within which marketing occurs. And you'll notice that I have lots of sort of supplementary videos this week. I mean, these are all supplementary videos to give some additional examples of some of the concepts that the authors mention in the book. They're supplementary, so there's no obligation to spend any time with these things, but I think they're kind of interesting. But what the heck? That's just my opinion. Okay, so we do chapter 3 and chapter 4 this week, and now back to my question: what is the least painful way to remove a bandage? Very quickly or very slowly? So the answer to that question comes in this final video. And you may ask yourself what this question has to do with marketing. And the question really has more to do with economics than marketing. It has to do with behavioral economics. The fellow that is the speaker in this final video is a fellow by the name of Dan Ariely, and he's a behavioral economist down in the States. And if you watch this video, you'll find out the answer to that question. And in this video, he talks a little bit about his background, and the background ties into the question about which is the least painful way to remove a bandage. When this Dan Ariely fellow was a teenager, he was involved in an accident where he was severely burned, and he was in the hospital for a long period of time, and he became a bit of an expert on pain. And so he has an answer to that question. But the real question we want to ask, and the one that relates to chapter 4 here, which relates to ethics, the question is, do codes of ethics influence people's behavior? Because we're going to see some examples of codes of ethics in chapter 4, and the authors suggest that having a company having a code of ethics can have a positive influence on people's behavior. And we'll see an example of a code of ethics failing, a very recent example of a code of ethics failing with a large company. And then Ariely addresses this question indirectly about whether or not codes of ethics are effective. So if you watch this video, here's 2 questions to keep in the back of your mind. A, what's the most effective way, or what's the least painful way to remove a bandage very quickly, very slowly? And he tells you at the very end of the video. And then the second question is, do codes of ethics work? And his answer to the question, do codes of ethics work? It's a highly counterintuitive answer. You would never guess this in a million years if you were to think about it on your own. But Early is a behavioral economist, and he came across his answer through experiments in behavioral economics. And so the answer to the question, do codes of ethics work, is a question for behavioral economics, but it ties into marketing because we deal with codes of ethics in marketing. Anyways, that's all my comments for the agenda video for this week. So if you have time to watch some of these supplementary videos, I suspect you might find a few of them interesting examples of concepts dealt with in these chapters. Anyways, we'll talk to you next week.